Matt Gaetz is one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters. And by that, I don't mean policy-wise. Most of the Republicans support him fervently on almost all of his policies. So when sometimes the press tries to make a distinction between Trump and the Republicans, when it comes to policy, there's almost none. Bob Corker, who spoke out so forcefully against Trump, Jeff Flake, same, McCabe, same, all voted for the giant tax cuts for the rich, which was Donald Trump's #1 priority. No, in this case, Matt Gaetz wants to make sure that Donald Trump personally is protected from any legal liability, the special counsel coming after him. He wants to make sure that the president is above the rule of law, and he'll do almost anything to make sure that that gets him to that conclusion, including firing the special counsel and doing a purge of the FBI. These are the guys who claim to be for rule of law, claim to be for Blue Lives Matter and for cops and federal law enforcement. Turns out they're no such thing. Instead, they're actively trying to purge their political opponents, what they perceive to be their political opponents, including in places like the FBI. So Matt Gaetz, congressman from Florida, is on television. Let's hear.
Ambassador Rooney has worked overseas on behalf of the United States of America, knows full well the good work that far too many, or a great deal of folks are doing at the FBI and Department of Justice. The problem is, in the swamp of Washington, D.C., the biggest alligator is a politicized FBI and Department of Justice.
But do you agree with them? You're upset about the FBI and what's going on, but should there be a purge?
Well, the purge is happening. We just saw Andrew McCabe announce his retirement recently. You saw Bruce Orr, who was at the Department of Justice, demoted, and you saw Peter Strzok, the person who sent these horrible anti-Trump text messages, the same Peter Strzok who was very involved in the exoneration statement for Hillary Clinton and then got drafted into the Mueller probe. He's also been demoted and reassigned. And so time and again, you see the senior leadership at these agencies exposed for their bias, and that shouldn't in any way impair the good work that folks on the ground are doing each and every day to protect the country.
You're not supposed to do purges of our law enforcement, especially not for political purposes. And here he mentioned that they had political bias. So you're going to fire, you're going to investigate the political leanings of each of the FBI agents and fire anyone who isn't a Republican? I mean, this guy's cheering on the purge. Could you imagine if when Obama got into office, he said we need to investigate the political bias of the FBI and started firing all the Republicans, started firing all the people at the FBI who might have voted against Obama, which according to insiders is about 2/3 of the FBI. That would have been outrageous. And here they are on national TV proudly talking about the purge has begun. Yes, let's go get them. But it actually gets worse because it's one thing no, they're all terrible. Purge out people you don't like based on politics from the FBI is disastrous, but then to end the special counsel would be even worse because he's in the middle of an investigation to see if Trump or anyone associated with him broke the law. What does Matt Gaetz have to say about that?
I mean, if Bob Mueller were any more biased, we'd have to give him credentials for the mainstream media.
So are you calling for Robert Mueller to be fired when you say he's biased?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been calling for Mueller to be fired for months now.
Yeah, absolutely. Who cares about the rule of law? Come on, let's just get rid of it. Let's just call Trump dictator already and be done with it. Purge all of our political opponents. Yeah, Mueller. Yeah, let's fire him. Try to actually enforce the law. What's the matter with that? Mueller has already gotten indictments against people. He's gotten plea deals from people. Those people are going to prison. He's like, yeah, stop all that enforcing the law crap. No. Somebody hand me a brown shirt. I got to get on Fox News and talk about how we fire all of our political opponents. And by the way, I keep saying that because they keep saying it. They keep looking for so-called political bias. But Mueller is not a political opponent of Donald Trump or the Republicans. Mueller is a Republican. He served under George W. Bush. He's a registered Republican. Other Republicans before the madness set in respected Mueller completely. Most of the Senate Republicans still do. There is no charge of political bias against Mueller. If there was, it'd be him being biased against Democrats. He has voted Republican his whole life. And I guess under Matt Gaetz's rules, he would have been purged by the Democrats when they got into office. This is not anywhere near democracy. But believe it or not, it's going to get slightly worse. Listen to the last part here.
He needs to step up, be the Attorney General, fire Mueller, and appoint a second special counsel to evaluate the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, okay, not only are we stopping an investigation in the middle because we're worried that they actually do have the goods. That's why they've arrested these people. That's why some of them have confessed already and pled guilty. So stop it, stop it. Don't find actual illegalities and wrongdoing. Instead, let's go. It's not that I mind special counsels. I just want it to be political. I don't care about the law is what Matt Gaetz is screaming from the rooftops in that Fox News appearance. So he's saying, instead, I want to go after our old political opponents like Hillary Clinton. Let's, based on what? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Whatever we've been screaming lately. Is she in office? Is she in power? What's going on? No, I don't care. Let's just do a political witch hunt. They always do projection. When Trump says witch hunt is against him, he means let's start a witch hunt against my political opponents. So now the Gaetz says, and this is a sitting United States congressman saying, hey, let's start a political investigation of Hillary Clinton and see if we could put her in prison. Now that's their former opponent. You think they won't do it to their next opponent? So let's say that somebody's gonna run against Donald Trump. Once you've politicized the FBI and once you've purged everyone who didn't agree with you at the organization and fired anyone who was investigating you, what would stop you from investigating your future political opponents or your current ones? Nothing at all would stop you, because once we've agreed to the lawlessness, there's no more brakes in that system. And that car drives straight into fascism. And Matt Gaetz celebrates it all along. Because they don't believe in democracy. They are authoritarian by nature. Matt Gaetz can't wait for fascism to arrive in America. He'll be in the front seat. You just watched a video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.